Venkat. Today, I think
Good
it's
morning.
going to be a very good topic. We are going to discuss this recent test victory of India over Australia, right? Rather unexpected victory, I would say, right? Which everybody is going gaga about. I think we can discuss whether it's worth all the hype or only history will tell. So
Wow.
basically, I see this as definitely this has lived up to its hype and beyond, is my opinion. Of course, history will be the judge, but as of now, there seems to be a consensus among the experts and fans alike that this is probably the greatest cricketing achievement in Indian history. And that includes, if you think about it, right, like a couple of years back, we won with a similar score line in Australia itself. And then we had a few test victories in India and abroad against other opponents. We also have two World Cup victories, right? So, including all that, there seemed to be some sort of consensus that this is the greatest cricketing achievement in Indian cricket history. Right? And as of now, I personally tend to agree with that. Right? Would like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, well said in your introduction. Amazing victory in Australia. I must agree, right? Especially how the things turned out especially after how things turned out in the first test. India was doing pretty well in the first innings. They, in fact, had a lead in the first inning. However, they collapsed to 36 all out, which was very disappointing. And then nobody gave India any chance, right? Especially with the captain flying back. There was a new skipper and one injury. The main bowler, Mohammad Shami, was injured, right? After that, the way team bounced back, it almost felt like a miracle, right? And I was lucky to follow the first two tests. I was just looking at the first two tests, but I had the privilege of watching the last two tests ball by ball, and I really enjoyed. Yeah, and I totally agree that this is a remarkable performance. I I I just want to say one thing though. It appeared to me that Australia is was nowhere near their best in terms of the way they used to operate before, in terms of their captaincy, the captain, the quality of the captain, as well as the players, right? They were not appearing too menacing and the way we are used to seeing them. It could be that we played better and you know we neutralized them, but yeah, I somehow feel the quality of Australian team is not there. But I agree, it's a
Uh,
remarkable achievement by Team India, and I'm really proud of the way they did it.
so, do you think that, right, since you are saying they did not appear menacing, right? So, what do you think contributes to their menace? Like, is it because since this, you know, sandpaper gate, as they call it, right? They decided to take a different approach to their cricket. They wanted to change the who they are in as a team, right? Do you think this has hurt them in a way that they have lost their aggression, right? And they are just trying to find a balance. And because I saw some highlights, I did not, of course, watch the full match. I was just following the scores on Cricinfo, and later when it turned out that they won, then I went to YouTube and watched some highlights. Right, in that few highlights, they were doing some sledging and all. So it looked like a regular fare to me, like how Aussies usually operate. Right, they get in the opponent's face, and they seem to be aggressive. And from the highlights, it looked like they were doing all their tricks. They were up to all their tricks, and it's just that India has matured as a team, and I don't think these guys are in awe of these players, right? So they were casual about it, right? If somebody says, for example, this Tim Payne said, "Okay, see you at the Gaba." Ashwin had a very ready repartee, right? He could come back. He had a good comeback, saying that, yeah, come to India. That will be your last series. So they were one up on sledging as well. That's what I'm saying. They had this. They had showed this mental toughness. I feel that they are not really bothered about, oh, this is Aussies. They're some big, this. That is what I found remarkable, because I found that they were doing it.
Yeah, so let me tell
Yeah,
you
of course.
why I
Yeah,
was saying
okay.
it is different. Yeah, fair enough. Your point about the aggression and Indian players were ready for them, right? They are not anymore, bogged down by the stretcher of Australian cricket and its past, right? And I think we should credit IPL and you know for making India a superpower in cricket, right? I agree on that. However, one thing I want to say you the difference, right? If you say this sledging by Tim Payne, it happened uh, when during the Sydney match when there were 11 point close to 12 overs still into the play. Okay, and 5 wickets Australia had to take it. And this guy, the captain of Australian team, was already thinking about Gabba, right?
Which
Instead
means
of
that he had
trying
given
to
up.
yeah, that
He
is
had
what
given up on this match.
yeah, exactly, that is what is totally un-Australian to me. They
You're right.
this is a team which is supposed to not give up till the last ball. They want to win at any cost. They're aggressive. They at times they go in their instinct is going for the win. They are never on the back foot.
Hmm.
But this guy
Your
seems
your point,
un-Australian. Yeah, so I felt
because
this is
in
a
so
change.
many
Yeah.
matches,
Mm.
I have seen in the times of Shane Warne, even in one day matches, I have seen like they they win from impossible situations.
Mm.
Like when everything seems lost,
Mm.
one of their champion players like Shane Warne or Glenn McGraw or some batsman for that matter. So many matches come to my mind. Like there was a match against Pakistan when they were chasing 340 odd,
The last innings,
right,
right? Mm.
against Pakistan. And think about it, like Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis, probably the best bowling attack at that time.
Yeah.
And then Gilchrist came in when they
Mm.
were 140 for 5
Yeah.
at Perth, and they won that match with I think they won it by 5 wickets. They did not lose any further wicket or something ridiculous like that, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just came and played his aggressive cricket, and suddenly the Pakistan fielders, everybody was under pressure, and you know what happens to our teams. Like when I say our teams, like all Pakistan, India, subcontinent teams,
They collapse.
when they are put under pressure in an alien environment, we
Mm.
used to crumble like anything. So for that reason, I feel that even Pakistan is celebrating this victory. I could see that a lot of Pakistani ex-cricketers, as well as even Pakistani fans, right, feeling a little proud of this win. Of
Mm.
course, they will have some negative feelings also, understandably, but I could see a lot of people were genuinely proud or in awe of this victory because of this reason.
Mm, mm,
Same way in World Cup, few matches, I remember they are just chasing against South Africa and all. At that time, it was seen to be South Africa choking,
mm.
right? In 96 World Cup, I believe, right? They were chasing 204 or something. I remember because those are the days when I
I
used
think
to
that was
watch cricket a
1999.
lot.
It was a tied match, right? Where
Yeah,
Australia.
suddenly they were Lance. No, I think it was 96, Aman.
No,
Like when
96.
Lance Klosner's World Cup. The guy Lance Klosner was winning all the games for South Africa, right?
Mm, mm,
Where he used to hit in the last 5 or 6 overs, he used to hit 10 plus in the last five runs per over, right? And it was semi-finals, I believe.
mm,
And even before that, in one of the league matches which Australia had to win, were the probably the best fielder of our times,
mm,
Herschel Gibbs.
mm.
Herschel Gibbs is known as the best fielder of our times,
Yeah.
right? Probably one of the top two or three,
Mm,
along with Ricky Ponting, John T. Rhodes, and Herschel Gibbs, right?
mm, mm,
And he dropped a sitter against Steve Waugh. And Steve Waugh made that, unforgettable comment where he said, mate, you just dropped the World Cup,
mm,
right? And
mm,
as it turned out, they again met in the semi-finals, where again South Africa choked.
mm.
But now, thinking back, maybe it is the Aussies' capacity to play till the last ball to win, right?
Yeah.
As you said. So
Yeah.
maybe they don't have that edge anymore. Maybe other teams have caught up, right? Especially India. India has this has got the wood on them now. You could say that now if Australia and India meet,
Mm.
maybe Australia is the underdog from now on, right? That's a very interesting and exhilarating thought that against Australia we are the big cheese now.
Venkat, you're on mute, Venkat.
I see that the Captain Payne, he has said, GABA miracle won't kill my captaincy. He calls this a miracle.
Okay. I mean,
He's
it may be a
calling this a
miracle for
miracle.
India, but definitely a disaster for them.
Exactly.
It's more of a disaster for them.
Yeah.
Because they simply, I feel, right? See, as they say, history can liberate you, or it can imprison you. I feel that learning from history, India has learned from history, right? What are these guys? What are these guys? And what are their tricks? Like that, they had this approach. Whereas Australia were imprisoned by their own history. They thought, okay, yeah, because even in the Sydney match, Tim Payne was saying, like, come to Gabba, that's my area, right? How? Like he was not thinking. These guys were probably not thinking, hey, why? What made it our area in the first place? What were the things we always do at the Gabba, right? And what is this team capable of? When they took this for granted that yes, in Gabba we are invincible. Instead of thinking why we are invincible and what is the plan that we need to execute against each of these players, whether it is a new player or old player and all, you don't want to assume things about the opposition at any time. the assumption was that, okay, yeah, these are new guys, they will simply crumble. If you see the language that Aussies used, and even their ex-grades, right? They were repeatedly saying, like just before the match, I saw one interview given by Ricky Ponting, where he also said that, hey, they have shown remarkable resilience, but their resilience has to give some time. It has to, and I think it is high time it gave. So they were assuming that it will crack, they will crack at some time, and it will happen here. Right? If you keep putting a team under pressure repeatedly, right? And they will crack. At some time they will crack, right? But they forgot their own history. When adversity used to bring the best out of Aussie teams, like they had this thing that in their first World Cup win out of that those 3 World Cup wins recently, right? They had a string of 3 World Cup wins. The first one they had to win like 6 or 7 matches, on the trot. Initially, they were losing. They lost so many matches that suddenly they found themselves in a very precarious situation where they had to win continuously, right? They had to win like 7 matches to win the World Cup, which they did. The point is, the tougher it got, the tougher the team became. So when they can do that, how can they think that the other team will also not do the same thing, right? Champions teams have this capacity to keep coming up with new solutions. Like when problems are posed, right? It is a big mistake that they made, that they did not think of this Indian team as hey, this is a champion team. They have, I feel that they showed enough signs to warrant that kind of alarm, to raise the alarm bells among the Aussies, because they had no business winning the Melbourne Test after what happened in Adelaide. This Indian team had no business winning at the MCG, right? And when they did that, all sorts of alarm bells should have gone up, right? But they somehow felt that, oh, this is an aberration. Just like, they felt that, oh, these guys, end of the day, they just buckled under pressure and they got bowled out for 36 runs, right? They could not even stand there for 20 overs. Less than 20 overs, 36 runs, they folded. And if you keep applying that kind of pressure, it's just a matter of time. Just around the corner, that collapse is coming, right? Instead of going for regular analysis, like which they had all the data at their disposal. For example, they should have gone about it like they will prepare again any other batsman, like Shubman Gill has come in, right? They have enough on him because the days are different now, right? He's not a new player for them. All these Aussie players know about Shubman Gill, and they also have the footage from IPL. So I am doubting whether they actually had a plan for Shubman Gill. Instead of thinking, okay, he's a new guy, and somehow he will get out. Instead of saying, okay, Shubman Gill, these are the weak areas. I have to bowl in a certain way to this guy. I have to bowl in a certain way. Like these areas are his problem areas. Same way, Rishabh Pant, right? Even I can think of, problem areas like them. They did not adapt themselves. Like, for example, when this guy is trying to hit and he is going for the win, right? I didn't see them bowling like, wide wide on the offside. These kind of regular IPL, because these guys are playing like T20, like they are doing reverse sweeps, paddles, all sorts of shots they started playing. So how come these guys were rigid? They were still bowling full. They were still bowling in the areas where he can hit. When this guy is going for quick runs, why can't you adapt T20 tactics, right? Of bowling wide of the crease. I feel that Rishabh Pant would have played one shot too many for one of those and he would have hold out, right? It's possible, but I feel that they were thinking that yeah, they are going to crumble. They are going to crumble now. They are going to crumble now. Suddenly, when that is not coming, right? By that time, it was too late. And even in the Sydney cricket match, I saw some highlights where towards the end of play, this guy Mitchell Stark was reversing the ball, right? But throughout the match, they were trying to bowl too short. They were trying to scare the batsman out. So I think they got their, thinking wrong. So you
Yeah,
may be right
that's
that,
right.
yeah.
He uh, yeah, I listened to this ABC commentator, Jim Maxwell. He's a renowned commentator. Okay, he has covered
Okay.
200 plus test matches, right?
I see.
As a
Okay.
commentator, he said that during the Sydney test last day, right? Uh,
Okay.
Australians bowlers wasted 2 to 3 hours bowling short pitch, right?
Hmm.
And trying to hit and intimidate the batsman, where Ravi Ashwin and this Vihari was batting, right? But then these guys were not budging, right? And they were lucky also. But they should have been, targeting this top of the off stump line, which gets you this LBWs or catches in the slip. But Australians missed that ploy. Yeah, so their technique and their strategy, was at question during the Sydney Test match. Totally, they were exposed on that department.
Was it
They were
the
playing
captaincy?
of course, he captaincy is the main reason. As Sunil Gavaskar said, it's unimaginable, right? You are not able to get out a touring team on the fifth day track twice in a week on your favorite grounds. Like you are an Australian and you have
So
these
which means
favorite,
that the tactics,
yeah, tactics
they got something wrong.
wrong. Yeah.
And I am putting that down to their own, they themselves started believing that, oh, these are minnows. These are minnows and they should topple over anytime. And when these guys started showing fight, they are like, they don't know what hit them. Because one interesting thing, right? Another interesting thing I noticed was that we are sitting here and we are talking about captaincy and all these tactics, strategy and all, right? But when they are in the ground and they are playing, right, they can there can be passages of play where the players are not really aware what is going on. The players themselves are not really aware of some patterns that are happening in the game. Like this guy Ashwin has Ravichandran Ashwin has a YouTube channel where he has posted a few very interesting back room strategy and all. He is discussing with one of the fielding coaches, right? Of course, it is in Tamil, and he has also given subtitles where he is saying one thing, right? We were not aware when we were playing this Sydney Test match. The Aussies also did not know for quite a while. They did not know what was going on, right? They thought that we are not rotating strike because we are unable to run. Whereas it was our strategy. It was our strategy that we discussed, I and Hanuma discussed, and I said that, hey, this guy is bowling too good, right? This Pat Cummins was bowling too good. His balls are like rearing up from unexpected places, and it's very tough. And then we decided that, and Hanuma said that, but you are playing this Nathan Lyon very well. right? You are really playing well. And so in the meantime, they came up with this strategy. Okay, from now, we will just I will take Nathan Lyon and you take Pat Cummins. That was their strategy. But according to Ashwin, the Australian team didn't know for quite a while, and they were discussing and saying that they are unable to run. So they are trying to exploit or bring out the problems with their bodies or injuries, right? They think, okay, this guy is hurt his hamstring. So let me bowl in areas which will make him stretch, which will make him vulnerable. Same way with Ashwin, right? They see that this guy is not able to bend, so they are trying those tactics instead of understanding. And another thing he said was like the Shardul Thakur, right? He was the 12th man or something in that match, right? In Sydney. So apparently Ravi Shastri sent a message through him. They were discussing many things, and Ravi Shastri told them the same message actually, saying that Ash is probably playing Nathan Lyon the best of all the Indian players. So ask him to do that. And also they were afraid that this guy will be hurt, right? And they were joking that if Ashwin is hurt, then only Ravi Shastri has to bowl, right? So they told him not to face the barrage from Pat Cummins. They wanted to protect Ashwin. So he sent a message, but Shardul Thakur came into the ground, and apparently he told them they are discussing a lot of things, but I don't want to give you any message. Just play.
You are doing
just
a good job.
you are doing well. Just continue doing that.
That's
right.
brave. That's
they are telling a lot of things.
That's brave.
So it is a smart play by him, if you ask me. Right. But what I am trying to say is, they may be tactically unaware, because in the heat of the moment, there is a certain passage of play where nobody is aware. So, which brings to the fore the point again that this captain has to be, strategically, and he has to have that awareness. He should not get too immersed in the game, in the moment. He should still be able to think back and, oh, these are the strategies we devised. Are we actually following that? Because a lot of things can happen in the heat of the moment. Suddenly you may lose a passage of play, like 6 or 7 overs. And if you lose, for example, if you forget that, you have to bowl full, right, to a particular batsman, right? And if you forget that, and Pat Cummins just keeps bowling short, and after 3 or 4 overs, he is out. So you lose him for the next 1 hour. He cannot come back, right? Because he will be tired. So you lose that option of getting that wicket using Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to note how it played
It
out.
appears that India was using their right brains, whereas Australia was stuck with their left brain, right, throughout the series. As a result of which, they were not able to see the big picture or analytical side. Yeah. The team's left brain was dominant for Australia, whereas the right brain was dominant for the Indian team. Yeah.
I think you're reversing that, Venkat. I agree with your point, but I think right brain is creative. Right. Left brain is logical. Is that what you said? Okay, but anyway, but your point is, I think, correct. That these guys were using a lot of analytical thinking, right, and not giving into their emotions and not going by history. They were not prisoners of history. If that is the case, like, see, I think it's a generational thing, Venkat. In a way, I think all of us, even though in cricketing terms, we are all old generation. Like, because if you remember that day, even I did not have any hope that they will win, because I am looking at the history of Gabba, and I am looking at history of test matches, right? And it looked like an impossible task. To how is it possible, like to score 320 plus runs in a test match, right? But looks like our new generation of players or fans, they don't care about these things. They are like, okay, yeah, it's just 320, man. I can hit that in 30 overs. 30 overs, I can hit 320. What are you talking about, right? And if Rohit Sharma is there, he can hit 200 in a T20 game, right? He can hit 200 in a T20 game, and they can make 400 runs in 50 overs. This is nothing. In 90 overs, you have to make 320, something like 3.5 runs per over. Nothing to it. That is the way I think they see it.
Fearlessness, fearlessness, is what do you say, is evident, I would say, in the current breed of Indian cricketers, which is a good thing. I think Virat Kohli should be credited with that kind of attitude, right? That he has infused in the team.
But
you're
how
on
do you
mute.
guys put it?
I was saying that look at the bouncers that were bowled by the Australian team, right? And this guy Pujara, he got so much of. I think he might have gotten an injury to himself. So many. It was more of a body line bowling probably for Pujara, right? So it is actually, this victory comes after a lot of endurance, right? It's an endurance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has played over 900.
But how do you guys compare, or you can say the other famous moments, like you could say 1983 or 2011 World Cups, right? And then you have 2008, we won in Perth, right? Which is the bounciest pitch in Australia. Then we had a 2018, a series win, 2-1 series win. Now we have 2021, right? So how do you guys compare? Which do you think is
I think this is most memorable for me because of not just the victory in the last test, but last three tests, the way team played, right? After going down in the first test rather miserably, winning the second test, right, where Ajinkya Rahane scored a century. Sunil Gavaskar said this has to be one of the most significant hundreds in the history of Indian Test cricket. Right, that kind of fighting knock he played. And the third test, again, the resilience to draw that game.
Of course, it also helps that he's a Marathi guy. I can understand.
I think we have to give it to Sunil Gavaskar to be a fair for all, right? So much cannot be said about both of you. Both of you.
Cricketing matters.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to country versus country. I don't think he's biased. He's biased towards India.
I think the third test, saving the third test, was a better task than winning the fourth test, in my personal opinion. And the reason is there were too many overs left, actually, and the top 5 frontline batsmen got out, actually, right? And there was a tail ender as well as only one proper batsman who played for a long time, 3.5 hours, right? So that for me was very special. So again, what makes this victory most memorable for me is the continuous resilience and the fight stored. Not just, it's not a one-off. You cannot say one-off. They have played well for over a month, which means they are good. It's not like
they have it in them.
It proved that they have it in them actually. Yeah, that's why
It's not like a flash in the pan.
Yeah, exactly.
No. See, actually, I also like this test series win better because it's dramatic, right? It's like a David versus Goliath. David versus Goliath, right? There is a big Australian team with all the with all the might and power versus some kind of an underdog or a presumed underdog, right? So, and this guy goes on to win for, I would say, 3 times, because I think drawing the third test was also a win, right? So, 3 consecutive
as I said, Venkat,
victories.
right?
Yeah.
This is so thrilling because of this David versus Goliath thing.
Yeah.
Except that I feel this is David winning against Goliath in a wrestling match. In a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the original David versus Goliath, David has an advantage. He is standing. He just uses a sling, and that one shot takes down Goliath. But here it is like these people are involved in a hand-to-hand wrestling combat for close to a month, right? Yeah. And David came out on top, right? So which makes it all the more remarkable, right?
Totally.
The only moment, if you ask me, comparable to this is 1983 World Cup win, because we were huge underdogs then also against the West Indian behemoth. But that is just one day.
Right.
And after that, the West Indies team came here to India and thrashed us, black and blue, right? in the series after that, right after that World Cup win, they came here and with a vengeance they thrashed us. So it was like a one-off thing. Of course, it was great. It was great.
It was a World Cup, that even
it is a World Cup.
It has its greatness.
No matter what happens after that, it is great. It's a great moment for Indian cricket, which we will cherish. But the fact is, India did not prove their superiority over West Indies at any point in time. Yeah, they won. But then they subsequently lost very badly in India. They came to India within a few months after that, and they totally thrashed us in every format, right? As is expected. So everybody was like, yeah, business as usual. We are back to back to business as usual, right? But in this case, it's remarkable because it has now we are setting a theme. Like if India goes there next time to Australia, the expectation is that India will win. No matter what the team composition and all, India will start as the favorites next time. Just imagine going to Australia and starting as favorites out of the blocks, right? So which is a remarkable achievement, right?
Yeah.
So that is why I feel that at this moment, I feel it is the greatest achievement.
Nice.
Yeah. On that note, let's wrap it. Do you guys
sure
have anything else to add?
No.